I remember when I first got into this business model called SMMA, a marketing agency named simply, in which I would help businesses get clients. And so I spent a whole month learning every single day how should I help them, on which platform, what to say, who to help, how to do this. Any question that I had and any question anyone can think of, I watched a video on it. And this took a month, as I said. But one day, I finally applied this information. I figured out who am I going to help, how, or what platform. I set everything up. I did everything. And I actually started sending those messages. And I did it for an hour, maybe two. And I never did it again. Why? Because it was the most boring thing I ever did in my whole ass life. The lesson of the story, before you learn about something for a whole month of your life, your time is valuable, man. Please, don't do the same mistake as I did. Actually try the sport. Actually try the business model. Now, if I were to get into a new sport, get into new business model, I want to try it. Okay, I want to obviously know what is it about, how to do it, but this takes an hour or two for an expert to explain to me. Just the basics, how it works, what you actually do most days, and that's it. And then actually try that. And then if I like it, then actually let's go more in depth. Let's actually try to get things more perfect. Let's actually figure this out, how to have a good business model, how to be good in this sport, whatever it is. Let's learn more about it. Let's spend more time learning about it. But only when I actually know, okay, I actually want to learn about this. That's the first lesson. And the second lesson is, once I do, how do I determine which information is actually valuable? I learned this from one book called 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And there's a whole part of the book which talks about like low information diet. And that's what it is. It says that most information is actually useless. And in this experience, I figured out, yeah, this information is useless. I just wasted a month of my life. I'm not going to use this information ever. I could have done anything else. What information isn't useless? The information that is important to you and you're going to use immediately. So even if I like this business model, but let's say I'm just starting in this business. So let's stick to this example of SMA. I could be learning how do I deliver the service, but I still haven't even sent a message. How do I send a message? Who are my people? Who am I going to help? Which group of people? This information I'm not going to use immediately. I first have to decide who am I going to help. Then I have to decide how am I going to message them, over which platform, what am I going to say. Those are the things that I should be learning about, not how do I deliver this service. So that's the second lesson. Every time before you start learning, make sure to ask yourself, will I definitely use this information for something immediate and important? If you're an entrepreneur who wants to make more money, click the link in the description of this video. If you're an entrepreneur who wants to make more money, working less, and have more time, click the link in the description of this video. Now, when I was younger, like many young guys these days, I wanted to become a professional video gamer. I know, I'm not most proud today, but it was a desire of mine in the past. Can't change it. And it was very obvious to me, how do I achieve this? I gotta perform amazingly at the tournaments. If I place in top 10 in Europe or in the world, I'm obviously a professional video gamer. I'm obviously incredibly good at the game. And how do I do this? I make sure I'm the best player I can be. I work on my weaknesses. And I compete at events to get more experience. I will review my gameplay and gameplay from pros. Those are the things that probably would help me win those tournaments the most. And everything else, and there was a bunch of other things that I could do. Play with friends, play a bunch of games in Fortnite, differently, play casual matches, play a million different game modes. I could do them. And they would take a bunch of time, but they wouldn't really help me with achieving my goal. This was, as I said, very obvious to me, but when I translate this to real life, this wasn't as obvious to me. Because in real life, I figured out that I can do this for every goal that I have too. For example, with this YouTube channel, I can respond to email every day, respond to every future comment that I'll have on this channel for hours. I could be responding to comments. I could be, I don't know, editing videos for days, literally making sure they're the best edited videos, whatever. Like, I could do a million things. But if I'm gonna be honest, the biggest thing that's gonna help me with growing this YouTube channel is actually sitting down, coming up with a script, video idea, title, and actually recording that video. If I'm gonna do only one thing and nothing else, it's gonna be recording those videos. This is what Pareto principle is all about. It states that for every goal, there is literally 20% of actions that give you 80% of results, yet take the least amount of time and effort. And for every goal, there's also actions that take a bunch of time, 80% of the time, yet give you 20% of results. So as I said, I could be spending hours on commenting videos, checking email, blah, 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 or I could spend a few hours on creating some videos. So why do this one? Why? Eliminate it. Don't do it, or if you have to do it, then do it, but only the minimum amount. Third principle is literally something I discovered in school. In elementary school, I literally had a teacher who gave me every month a book to read and answer certain questions. And so I would borrow the book, but I didn't really touch it till almost the last day before the deadline. 2 days before the deadline, I would actually open the book and intensively started reading it very fast. I'm hours of reading it. So I actually read it before the deadline. And as I said, there were certain questions that had to be answered. This took a bunch of time. But because of the deadline, I stayed up till 2, 3, 4 a.m. even though I had school in the morning at 8 a.m. And so I would literally, as I said, stay till 3, 4 a.m. literally every hour, just throwing water on my face just to stay awake. And my mom next to me, literally angry at me, you did it again. Why didn't you do it before? And answering those questions, helping me, because she doesn't want me to get a bad grade and she loves me. And similar thing happened in high school. I didn't learn a lesson, obviously. 1 year, I had to get my grades up in many subjects if I didn't want to fail the year. But let's focus on math. Math specifically was very hard for me. I didn't really study much, but it was a harder subject for me. That year, it was the last week of school, and I had 3 more tests to improve if I didn't want to go to school over the summer. And in the whole year, there was 5 tests. On that last week, I had math 2 days. First day, I literally improved my grade at 1 test. 2 left. Last day, I improved both tests. Teacher didn't believe it. Nobody believed it. I did it all in 1 week. 3 tests out of 5. Meaning, I could have literally passed the whole year in 2 weeks if I wanted to. 2 weeks for the whole year. And not 9 months. It's usually 9 months. That's why it's so... Then what? And there's so many more examples of this. One guy ran a marathon. No preparation. So many people. They run way more than marathon actually without any preparation. It's crazy. Most people were like, oh, I'm gonna take a year. And that's probably a smart approach. But it just shows how it's possible to do it way faster if that's what you want. A lesson is, whatever you do, preferably it's 80-20 action, as I said, previous lesson, apply that lesson, but also apply a very tight deadline to that 80-20 action. So you do it way faster. And batching. At one point, I was not at home. I went to other place and worked there for a whole week, and then on weekend I would get back home. So I lived there with few colleagues and worked there, obviously. Every day I get home, I would work out, take a shower, and I want to eat something. And I had to go to the shop, buy something, get back, prepare the food, eat it, clean everything up, brush my teeth. This took so much time. I didn't like one bit of this. Or I had to go to the shop and buy pre-cooked food and then get back, if there was any pre-cooked food. Which was way better, obviously. Two solutions I came upon. First solution was I can either save my time and buy food that's already pre-cooked for 2 to 3 days. So I have to go to that shop to buy pre-cooked foods only 2 times that week. If I wanted to save money and decision making, but actually cook the food in that time, then it was literally go to the shop, buy food for the whole week, and prepare it that same day. It doesn't have to be immediately after I get home, but prepare that food for the whole week. If I didn't want to take it extremely, I could cook food 2 times a week. But I still saved time because I didn't cook every single day. And I saved decision making. I didn't have to think, okay, what am I going to eat today? Am I going to buy pre-cooked food? Am I going to prepare the food? Blah, blah. So that's one example of principle called batching. You could apply this to anything in your life almost. So many things. For example, if you check messages every 10 minutes or every half an hour, you can decide, okay, let's batch this. Let's check my messages only 3 times a day, or 2 times a day, or 1 time a day. This way, you still respond to all the messages, but you do it way more effectively. You don't do it every 20 minutes, but you do it every few hours, or twice a day, or once a day. Let's say you want to go to shopping. You don't do it every day. You don't do it every week. You do it every 2 weeks or every month. It can be also applied to business. Instead of me recording a video every day, I could on one day come up with video ideas, titles, create thumbnails, create scripts for the video, and then the other day I could record all the videos and edit them. And bam, in 2 days I made 3-4 videos. So I saved myself a day or two by using this principle. It's amazing, incredibly simple. I'm really glad I did this. This honestly saves me so much more time. If I had to cook every day, if I had to record video every day, if I had to do so many things, this would take me so much time. If you watch this whole video, it would be a waste of time. And as we said, this would be useless information if you're not going to use it and if it's not important. And you would be a content consumer. So, promise me you're going to take action on what I say, okay? Promise me. If you keep watching this video, you promise me that you're going to take action, okay? Whisper under your own breath. Okay, first action step. Set aside time to ask yourself, what are the 80-20 actions, aka what are the actions that give you most of the result, yet take least amount of time and effort. Then, once you have them, do only them. Barely do the things that take a bunch of time and give you barely a result. Second, no matter what you do, apply Parkinson's law. Apply a very tight deadline to what you're doing, so you do it in way faster amount of time. Third, set aside time to think of what could I batch in my life. I could batch checking messages only twice a day. I could go to shopping instead of every week, every 2 weeks, for example. Or I could prepare my food every 3 days instead of every day. Or something third. It can be a business task, as I mentioned too. And fourth, remember, most information is useless. Every time before you start learning, ask yourself, will I definitely use this information for something immediate and important? That's it. If you're an entrepreneur who wants to make more money working less, click the link in the description of this video. Make sure you do these action steps. I'm glad I helped, and I'm glad I changed your life for the better. See you in another video.